I had started, doing a chant called Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian chant, and it's a powerful, magical chant. And I had started doing it. And the basis of that chant is that there's nothing outside of you. Everything that you ever see outside is always an aspect of you that you have never cared to acknowledge. In other words, that's your shadow side, and you have sort of disowned that part of you, and today you're going to get to see it in somebody else. And you'll have to take responsibility for whatever it is that you're seeing on that person, and you'll have to somehow convince yourself, or you'll have to develop the conviction that it was you who wanted to see that thing outside of you, anywhere but within me. Anywhere but within me. And so you choose to see it on other people who are sort of screens for you. And it is then that you are faced with the choice of either saying, you are like this, it is you, or stopping for a moment, taking responsibility and saying, okay, you are fine. I have projected this thing on you because I didn't want to acknowledge this as a part of myself. And today I decide to take this back. I own this part of me and I set you free. If one is able to do that consistently, and if one is able to do that to the degree that one becomes completely convinced that the other person is absolutely fine, and that whatever is being seen outside is really coming from one's own mind. If one is able to do this properly, then somehow that situation completely dissolves. And that is something that I began to practice. I was able to not only practice it in my own life, and I practiced it to a degree where anyone and everyone I met just became pieces of information for me about what was inside me. They didn't have any, other meaning for me. I stopped saying, you are like this, you are like that, you're saying this, I stopped all that. I was very careful to treat all of that as feedback. And so every time I looked at something as feedback and I did that chant and whatever else it is that I learned, I was able to get immediate relief. And from there began a journey where because my childhood has actually been, it has been a time when I learnt a lot about philosophy along with astrology. I learnt a lot about philosophy. My father has been my first guru. And so having learnt all of that, that seed was already there within me. So it had to sprout, it had to come out as a plant or a sapling or something, and then with time it had to grow into that tree. And that's exactly what happened with me in my life. And so there came a time when I learned psychology too, and I found, it's a beautiful thing the way psychology, astrology, and philosophy come together to give you the truth about who you are as a person and what you can do to get your life back on track. So, forgiveness for having unconsciously created that situation outside is the first step to any healing. Anyone we see outside as a threat to us, a threat to our emotional peace, a threat to our well-being, whether it is somebody's diseased body, whether it is a statement made by somebody to you, whether it is a behavior shown to you by your partner or your child or some relative or a friend or a colleague or a boss or whoever, it is imperative to take it all back, to acknowledge it as having come from within us and only being seen outside, when that degree of responsibility can be taken. Okay, it's appearing as if you said this about me, but the truth is that a part of me is saying this about myself. It's appearing as if you are saying something nasty about me. The truth is, a part of me is saying something nasty about me. To that degree, when you practice this thing, you find something marvelous happening in your own life. And I have experienced that, and I have been able to help many, many people overcome all kinds of difficult situations in their lives. Today, it's not that I don't believe in astrology. Astrology has a place, and a very important place. The idea is to transcend that. Astrology is a blueprint of the subconscious mind, that part of the mind which you have brought here for correction. The question is, most of us come with that blueprint to be corrected, and we go back without effecting any correction. And what I learned was how that correction can be introduced and effected successfully. So today I'm in a position, I don't care what anyone tells me, oh, my horoscope has this and my horoscope has that, and that Pandit told me this and that man told me this, that great person who's such a great astrologer said this about me. It doesn't matter what anyone said about your chart. That person can make a comment on your chart. It's a comment on your subconscious mind. But the power to change that aspect of your mind, that master key, is something that you will always possess. You have always possessed. You never knew it. That's another thing. But the moment you make a committed decision to yourself that you are going to change the circumstances of your life, there is no way any power can stop you, and you will be the only hurdle in your own way.